through a version of, like, my version of the mini quiz. So if you guys get stuck on it while I'm not in class, I can help you. So for mine, my first question is asking for the slope of a line, and it gives me a graph that looks like this. So I've got a point at -4, 1, and -2, -1, and it goes like this. All right, so I should automatically know that I have a negative slope, and then if I count, remember rise over run, rise is up or down, run is left to right always. This one starts by going down, so this is my point A, this is my point B, down 2. So my rise is -2, and then my run is going to be +2. So my slope, or M, is going to be -2 over 2, which simplifies to -1. Don't forget to simplify your fractions. That is what I would type into my blend quiz, -1. Okay, the next one has another graph, and it's asking me for the slope, and it looks like this. And it has a vertical line right along the y-axis. You guys remember, vertical means x equals. It means it has an undefined slope, and that one is multiple choice for me, so I just picked the one that says undefined. For the next one, it's asking me to put in a graph and write it in slope-intercept form. So for number 3, it says slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So on my graph, I have points at 0, 3, and 4, 2. Line goes through those, so I have a negative slope. Hopefully you guys see that. So remember, our B is our y-intercept. Our M is our slope. So I can automatically see that my y-intercept is 3. So on your mini quiz, it looks like this: y equals blank x plus blank. That's your B right there. So for me, I would write in a 3. For my slope, I would count rise over run. I'm going to do that in pink. So my rise would be -1 because I went down 1. And then my run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get -1 over 4 for my slope. So I would type -1/4 for the first blank and 3 for the second blank. Number 4 for me on the quiz is a similar question. So I have a graph. They want me to put it in slope-intercept form. So I have points at 0, 2 and 3, 3. So we should see this is a positive slope. This is going to be my y-intercept. Right, and then I can count my rise over run. So my rise would be +1, and my run would be 3. So my M would be 1/3. This was my B. And the quiz looks like this: y equals blank x plus blank. So I would put 1/3 here. in the M spot and 2 in the B spot. Number 5 on my quiz has a graph of a line, and it goes through 5, 0, so that's up here, and negative 5, 0, so that's right here. So I didn't make my graph big enough, but you guys get the point. And it gives me the equation y equals x plus 5, and it's asking what is the slope, right? So I can either count up from point to point, or they gave me an equation in y equals mx plus b form. There is no number here, so that means that it's 1, an imaginary number, because 0 times x would just get rid of the 0, but 1 times x is just x. So my m is 1, and that is what I would type into the computer. Number 6 is asking me for the y-intercept of a line. So here we go. By the way, some of these exact questions are going to end up being on your quiz, or they will at least be similar. All right, and it says, what is the y-intercept? Well, that's right here. That is 2. So I would type in 2 to my computer. For number 7, it's asking me for the slope between 2 points. So the points are 17, negative 13, and 17, 8. So looky here, I have repeating x values. That means it's an x equals line, which means it is vertical, which means it is undefined. And it gave me a hint to spell undefined or 0 correctly, so that means it's going to be undefined or 0. Let's say you got the question, okay, so let's pretend I had a different number 7 that said, what's the slope between these 2 points? I would label my x1 and y1, x2, y2. I would use the formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my y2 is negative 7 minus negative 19 over x2 is negative 2 minus 1. If I plug that into Desmos, it would give me positive 12 over negative 3, which simplifies to negative 4. That is what I would type into the calculator. Number 8 is a chart, and it's asking me to write it in slope-intercept form. So for my chart, these are on your other notes video as well. I've got x and y. It goes negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And then negative 3, negative 1, 1, 3, 5. So I want to put it into slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So I need to find my m and my b. What just happened? Okay, so to find my m, I do change in y over change in x. On the y side, we're adding 2 each time. On the x side, we're adding 1 each time. So my m is change in y over change in x, which is 2 over 1, which is just 2. For my b, I find when x is 0, that's right here. So my b is 1. So I write out my equation, y equals 2x plus 1. And that's what I would type into the computer, because it's a free response question that you have to answer. For the next one, we've got our x and y chart. Same question. It wants us to put it in slope-intercept. So we've got x and y. The points are 2, 4, 7, 9, 12, and then we've got 5, 13, 25, 33, 45. So if we do change in y over change in x to find our m, because remember, m equals change in y over change in x. We've got plus 8, plus 12, plus 8, plus 12. So they're different. Here we got plus 2, plus 3, plus 2, plus 3. I need to make sure those are equal, so 8 over 2 needs to equal 12 over 3. Those both equal 4, so we're good. Then I need to find my b. That's a little more challenging here. So I've got a coordinate that I can use. I'm going to label that my x and my y. And I've got an m. So I'm going to plug those into y equals mx plus b and solve for my b. So y is 5, m is 4, x is 2, and then I have plus b. So 5 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8 from both sides, and you get negative 3 equals b. So now I have to write out the whole equation. So I get y equals 4x minus 3. Number 10 on my quiz is another chart. So we've got x and y. Our points are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got 11, 15, 19, 23, 27. And so our change in y over change in x is going to be 4. All of them are plus 4 on this side. All of them are plus 1 on this side. So m is change in y over change in x, which is 4 over 1, which simplifies to just 4. Then you can use a pattern to figure out our b, because our b is when x is 0. So I need to figure out what goes in this spot. So if I'm going backwards, it would be minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 to get to 0. Here it would be 27 to 23 is minus 4. 23 to 19 is minus 4. 19 to 15 is minus 4. 15 to 11 is minus 4. 11 minus 7 is minus 4 is 7. So my b is 7. So my equation would be y equals 4x plus 7.